He's been lifting less than a year. Let's do a tier list of his physique. All right, so if we're looking at the rear delts, he's got a lot of roundness already. He's got a good amount of striations in the detail. We clearly don't have the mass yet, but he hasn't been lifting very long. So we have a lot of potential here. Definitely A tier potential shoulders. Why? They're kind of short, but they have a lot of the separation. They have the correct shape so far. Looking at the triceps and the biceps, we might not have as much mass, but we do have a decent length of kind of our muscle belly. The bicep, it's kind of medium long and a good amount of brachialis. So he also has a little bit of this vascularity that you see going here. So I anticipate him to at minimum have vascular arms, but he has a good amount of separation with very little fat storage kind of here in the rear delt tricep area. All of his muscles are going to look more round because of this. So with the bicep and tricep, I don't know how big we necessarily can get them, but they're at minimum going to be B tier. Looking at the forearms, same thing, vascularity, but not quite the size, but has some of the shape. We're going to call that B tier. Chest, I could see the chest filling out quite nicely. You can already see a little bit of that notching as the kind of middle sternal fibers start to connect into the arm, with more of the lowest fibers of the chest coming under this area right here, twisting underneath and creating that notching appearance. This is going to be a cool chest. He's got a shorter chest. It's going to shelf pretty well because we do see a good amount of upper fiber development already. Some people just have better proportions in regards to their development, leading to a better looking physique. That's going to be an A tier chest, especially as he gains a ton more mass. As we look at the front, you clearly see the thick abdominals right here. So to me, obliques, abs, like sports make it really easy. Like his abs and obliques are already A tier, and then it's just a matter of trying to match everything else to this. And then if we flip on to the back, this is one of the areas that a lot of people might have a little bit of development in the traps whenever they played sports, but generally you're not going to have so much development unless you're really lifting some weights. So with the traps, we're looking at okay development. With the teres, we don't see as much teres. This is going to be one of the big areas for him to bring up. We're going to say it's going to be at minimum B tier because he is going to have good separation. I'd argue that his traps are going to be very big. They probably would have A tier potential. But then with the infraspinatus kind of popping somewhere in kind of this area, it's not extremely clear on how developed we're going to be able to get these, as well as the teres. We just don't necessarily know if we're going to have a ton of roundness yet, because we see a little bit of something going on here, but we're not seeing the same level of roundness that we were seeing kind of from the front. So for that reason, we're going to call it B tier potential. And then in regards to the erectors and kind of lats, we just don't quite see as much going on here. With the lats, they're kind of coming somewhere in here. They're kind of an average insert, and the erectors, not necessarily super thick. This is pretty average as well. So it's going to take him time. We're going to say both of those are B tier. So with that said, then the question is, do we have some legs? How big can he actually get? And whenever you're starting lean like this, you don't have to gain as much mass to see it because there is less fat competing against the gains that you see. So if you're not sure if you're making progress, if you're significantly leaner, it's a lot easier to know if you're actually looking better or if you're just getting bigger.